Iowa State, number 15 team in the country in the new AP poll, outlasted St. John's 83-82 tonight. 23 points for Milan Momcilovic. Taman Lipsey went down with what they termed lower body injury. He was grabbing his groin. I know he had a groin injury last March. All we got from TJ in talking to him, Goodman talked to him after the game, is that it's day to day and it's a lower body injury. They don't really know the seriousness yet. So I don't want to speculate too much on that. But I do just want to, Norm, you've coached against these guys before. And I think it's really impressive that TJ went in there off a season where they went 2-22 in the COVID year. So you got to give, Steve Prohm a little bit of a, that wasn't the easiest time to coach, but 2-22 season, 0-18 in the Big 12. He comes in, make the Sweet 16 year one, their 6th seed year 2, Sweet 16 year 3, make the tournament again year 4, and then, hey, look, they're back to being a top 10-ish, top 15-ish kind of a team. How was he able to turn this thing so quickly?
He's a stud. TJ is a stud. He is a really, really good coach. And I tell you, he's got a culture there on how they're going to play. They're going to defend. They're going to rebound. They're going to shoot threes. They're going to execute. He has some things with the guys know they're going to get after it defensively. They're going to be in gaps. They are the best, and you saw it today in the game. And we used to talk about this at Kansas all the time because I scouted them the whole time I was at Kansas. They are the best wall-up team in America, the best. So what they do is they make it look like they're going to foul you, and they don't. They get their hands up behind their ears, and they wall up and they do foul you, but they foul you with their body. So the referee can't call it, but it keeps you from shooting an easy shot over there. And if you remember in the game, there were 2 or 3 plays when it got tight at the end. I think Sellers drove in there one time. It might have been Zuby drove in there another time. And they just walled up, and they could not finish the play and score over top. They're the best at doing that. And he's good at retention, keeping his guys. Lipsey, Jefferson, Makalovich, that Dirk Nowitzki 1 foot. Hey, he does that. That's his shot. That's not like some lucky stuff. That is what that guy does. And if he can shot fake you and step sideways, right or left, he is going to make that 3, which he did today. And he played terrific, So he's done the same things year in and year out. He's got some beliefs that he's going to stick by, and I think it's done really, really well for
him. McCall?
Yeah. Do you think Zuby knew how much time was on the clock when he took that shot? Like, I'm just saying, the last possession, he sets the drag ball screen and he pops back and he catches it. Like, I think he had an opportunity to take 1, maybe 2 dribbles and go into a dribble handoff. I think he panicked a little bit because there's no way that Coach Pitino, that was the shot that they wanted to end the game. So I was a little bit shocked at that because when you look at the stat sheet, I mean, it was nick and tut. But, like, I'm with Norm just in terms of what Coach Otzelberger has been able to do there since taking over the program. And the amount of wins and everything that he's done it's really impressive. Like, it is really impressive. And how they play, the pace that they play on the offensive end of the floor, how hard they play on the defensive end of the floor, it's super impressive. But I'm just going to that last possession for St. John's, and you're like, okay, it's a drag pick and roll. Zuby pops back off the drag. Like, there's no way it was a pick and pop situation to let this guy shoot a 3. Like, there's no way that was – I don't think he knew how much time was on the clock. I think he could have gone into a dribble handoff on the other side of the floor, and maybe they could have gotten something better. But St. John's will be fine. Coach Pitino will figure it out, but you have to give this Iowa State team a ton of credit and what Coach Otzelberger has been able to do since he's been there. It is super impressive.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is Iowa State, Iowa State has been known in the Big 12 to shoot threes because Hoiberg was there. Shoot threes and play fast and all those things. But you always felt like, well, we can score two. We're going to score two against them. When TJ took over, that changed. They became very, very good defensively. Very good defensively. And you see that during the year. That, I mean, they get more deflections and steals. Now, they didn't get a whole lot of that today, but they get a ton of that because they play in the gaps. And they're tough and they're very, very physical.
Yeah, and they got two guys in Momcilovic and Joshua Jefferson that are scorers, are big. They give you different looks because they can score different ways, even if they're not the most athletic people in the world. And I think specifically with Jefferson, just like his ability to pass at the 4 spot, I think opens up a lot of stuff. Let's say hopefully that the injury that Lipsey has is just something that'll be like a short kind of a thing, right? Maybe he doesn't play the rest of this tournament, but he's fine by the time you get to the other side of Thanksgiving. But if it is something that is a little bit more significant, Norm, how big of an impact is it losing Lipsey for Iowa State? Like, what is it? I don't think people really appreciate what this guy does for that program.
It is huge, huge. He is the key. He is the heart of that team. He's been that for a long time. Even when he was a freshman, he was one of the best rebounding point guards we had ever played against. I mean, that was in our scouting report, was to block him off as the point guard because he's the best at running down balls. He actually was a football player too. He's tough. And the thing I give him so much credit for, Lipsey, is 2 years ago, he couldn't shoot. You wouldn't guard him. You'd go underneath every ball screen against him. Now he's shooting threes, so he's really developed his game, made his game better, always was a good passer, tremendous defender. He's a big, big key to that team. If they lose him, that's going to hurt them quite a bit, I think, quite a bit.
McCall, just real quick on St. John's. Ian Jackson, 16 minutes. Dylan Darling had 5 fouls. He played 24 minutes, and he was fine, but it wasn't really anything impressive. I have very real concerns about the point guard situation and how that's heading. And then when you combine that with the fact that they gave up 83 points in 69 possessions tonight, they gave up 103 to Alabama. It feels like they don't really have an identity yet, which feels weird for a Rick Pitino team that is supposed to be a top 10, top 15 kind of a team.
I couldn't agree more, and even though Bryce Hopkins has 16 points and 7 rebounds and 3 assists, he goes 10 for 10 from the free throw line, just 3 for 10 from the field. It's like, what's his role? Like, how are they utilizing him? Like, where do they want to play him? Like, do they want to play through him on the offensive end of the floor? Do they want him to trail the play and reverse the ball through him and let him initiate offense? Zuby Ejiofor is, one of the best, if not the best player in the Big East. So how do they establish him? And is he going to play on the perimeter? Is he going to play on the inside? Can they dump it into him? So I think the defensive end of the floor is the biggest question mark, especially with a Rick Pitino coach team with, his identity and how tough-minded and defensive-minded his teams have been, and to see what Alabama did to them in the Garden, and then to see, them give up 83 points today it's a little bit of a head scratcher, but we all know that he's in there, his entire staff's in there. They're all breaking down film right now. They're going to be ready to go for the next one. But I think you bring up a good point, Rob, just in terms of the identity. Like, who is this team? The point guard, position, everyone wants to continue to talk about. Like, oh, St. John's doesn't have a point guard. Can they win a national championship? Can they get to the Final Four? But I think it's the defensive end of the floor. I'm with you that they got to figure that out, because they can't continue to give up 80-plus points in the Big East and think that they're going to, compete with UConn and win a Big East championship and get to a Final Four. Like, they got to start holding teams in the 60s if they're going to